ladies and gentlemen, and Dr. Greer,
Yep.
we've been communicating with Dr. Greer for 5 years, folks.
Yep.
If all of this is crazy, if that film is a hoax, if it's all BS, the DOD, the NSA, according to Apple, according to Intel people, because of my FOIA request, my emails have been stolen 3 times. There have been comments made to other people from the DIA. We know Jon Stewart very well. His FOIAs are sent up trip flares. I'm just simply asking this. If it's all a hoax, if it's all BS, why? Why have I caused such a stir in Intel for them to steal emails off my phone 3 times to the point where the FBI, local police, and the Apple Corporation are stymied? And that's just something for all of you to think about.
Yeah, I have this happen on a daily basis.
I know you do. You told me that when I first met you.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Literally on a daily basis. So, I mean, and since 1991.
You told me get ready to buy a couple of laptops and throw them out and get new ones. Yeah, I remember it specifically.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. One of the things we want to do with this, I want to put out a call to everyone listening. If you have any actionable intelligence on this case or anything similar, because let's just step away from this particular event. Remember that there have been dozens and dozens and hundreds of these sort of ET events.
Yes, sir.
And there are bound to be people who have been present, like that doctor who just died 11 years ago in 2014.
That's right.
There are bound to be people who handled the film footage or who were there in the interrogation. We now have a mechanism, not through the Congress, but through law enforcement, to immunize and protect anyone who comes forward. So contact me. We have at our website, drstephengreer.com, a box, contact box that is for whistleblowers, witnesses. It'll be held very confidentially. But if you have information on this case or similar cases related to extraterrestrial craft being downed, ETs being interrogated, or anything else of significance on the UAP UFO subject, you can contact us there. But there may be still people out there who were involved directly in one way or another with this particular case that you're dealing with.
Yes, sir.
The interview case.
Yes,
and
sir.
We need to see if they can come forward with any corroborating information or documents or what have you. So, and
please do. Please do.
If there's one bit of film footage that got smuggled out, there's others. And let me make one other clear statement. You are not breaking the law when you remove documents or material from these facilities.
Can you explain that? Telling me something new.
Yeah. So It was determined back in the mid-90s that because the president and key people in the Congress that we had briefed were being denied access to these operations, that they were illegal black projects. So you have black projects that are known by the president and the Gang of Eight in the Congress. Right. And then you have these projects which are being run unconstitutionally. For that reason, all NDAs are negated. You're not bound by your non-disclosure agreement. The top secret clearance on all of this has been stripped. I can tell you that senior administration, law enforcement, and congressional people I've met with now know that this is a massive RICO, racketeering influence corrupt organization, and that they are committing multiple criminal activities up to and including treason, murder, kidnapping, embezzlement of federal funds. For that reason, all UFO, ET related and UAP projects, all material, all witnesses, all documents, film footage, even physical items or bodies are fair game to be brought forward now. And that there is no one contesting what I just said, no one in the national security system. So, and I'm plugged in at a very high level. So this means people they have a clear playing field right now to come forward. Moreover, the people in the law enforcement have the ability to immunize them and put a net around them to protect them to see and surveil if there's anyone who tries to harass them. So I suggest that people walk through the door that's open right now, because who knows how long it'll be open.
Right.
And that people should come forward now in larger numbers. That's what we're calling for.
We do have a question coming in from one of our members.
Okay.
If either of you can talk a little bit more about S2 and S3 and how this all relates to Area 51.
Yeah, one of the greatest cold water moments of this whole investigation, I'm thinking S4, S4, S4. And then an intel person say, you're looking like a fool with people in the know. This hangars in the mountain, Bob Lazar, it's S4 is sub-level 4 of the alien housing center, which resides on top of S2 Annex or S2 Alpha Annex. And that is the building with 4 levels underneath it where people talk about S4, sub-level 4 of the S2 Alpha Annex. This is to the left of Papoose Lake. I've provided Raven with 2 satellite photos of it. Folks, take this to the bank. This is where the beings are housed, retained, and interrogated. S2 Alpha, and following Dr. Greer's Eye of the Documents, we have a FOIA from 1962-ish, where this facility was built to take the live beings from the BBS OPNAC Oceanic Platform for North Atlantic and the Bermuda Biological Station, coming from the SOM manual. They needed a new facility, and it was this S2 Alpha facility. And there have been more than people than not who have said this S4 Bob Lazar hangars in the side of the mountain is a myth. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you what I was told, but I know I've seen the satellite photo and I've seen the FOIA. That is the AHC, the Alien Housing Center, S2 Alpha, or they call it the S2 Annex. I got the food, lunch, dinner schedule. I had a person come forward, a Sergeant Michael Munoz, who said on live chat on YouTube, stop harassing Jon Stewart. This guy is telling you verbatim. I have the DD-214 that had me at S2 Alpha. I could tell you how to get a wall clock. I could tell you how to get a dignitary, and he's right. Yankee White is the code to get into this building. And we've had 3 other people verify S2 Alpha. Forget this S4, folks. It's a red herring. It's the sub-level 4, yes, but it's sub-level 4 beneath S2 Alpha. Take that, please, to the bank. And thank you for your question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing to remember, those are very old facilities, and even this case is 30-some years old.
Yes. And
so those have all evolved. So tactically, there are more critically important areas that are up near Pahut Mesa, Groom Lake.
Dugway.
Out in the Dugway is the most important newer facility out in the Mojave Desert near Edwards Complex.
Do you think they put those facilities in south of Groom Lake in like a caretaker status? Anybody would know.
I think that there are, it evolves, but remember the underground facilities that go very deep are connected to all the other ones through tunneling that goes all through that part of the continental United States. And we know this. I mean, Bechtel Corporation and others have built the underground, the subterranean facilities, but also these large tunnels that connect from one place. You can go from Edwards or near Edwards underground and go boom right out to the Nellis complex and never surface.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely true. And we know I know people who've done so. So I think this is. Remember, there's a very big story here. I encourage people to go to our archive. We have a dpiarchive.com where we have a map of all these facilities and a pin where a lot of the openings are, as well as in another file, the actual patent for the nuclear-powered tunneling device that has built these spaces that goes through bedrock and turns it into glass. But so, the case you're dealing with, is, more than a third of a century old
Right.
in terms of those facilities. And, it's a bit of a shell game where they can move around and what have you. So I'm just wanting to make that as a point.
It's a great statement.
A fact,
Yep.
just because, we're dealing with programs that have a virtually unlimited amount of money and technology, but are very thinly staffed. And as you pointed out, they make mistakes where things do get out.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we're asking for: more whistleblowers who can come forward, who have direct knowledge or material, and we can see that you are properly protected. But and if you've done some criminal activity, we are looking at being able to immunize you in the program that we have now. That I can't say too much more about. But I will say any of this activity is treasonous and illegal because it is not sanctioned by the constitutionally authorized officials, and that renders them completely unable to enforce the National Security Act top secret, provisions to prosecute anybody. It's the other way around. The people who would try to intimidate and prosecute a witness, they will be arrested. See, we're going to flip this right back on this organization, because they have no right to claim they have a top secret legal clearance when they are themselves breaking the law. You cannot have it both ways. You can't subvert the Constitution and the chain of command and at the same time claim you're going to use the law to keep things secret. See, you can't have it both ways. And this is their Achilles heel right there, what I just said. So this is why people who are whistleblowers need to come forward.
Yep. Well said.
We have time for maybe one more question, but so there's a lot of controversy around Bob Lazar, and is he really telling the truth with all the things he said? What's your opinions on that?
Do you want me? I'll go first. I'm going to be very careful with my words here. Number one, I have communicated with Bob Lazar 5 times. He is like a Dr. Greer. He is very responsive. He's a gentleman, and he's been very, very nice to me, and has not helped me all that much, but I just wanted to get that across. I'm also going to make one more statement. Do not push all of your chips forward on the metaphoric poker table that Bob Lazar was never at Area 51. Now, what he did there, I have no idea. Do I think that there was a desperate need of a breakthrough in the reverse propulsion program, Galileo, and Edward Teller, who recruited Stan Deyo, who was a FBI informant, disgraced Air Force cadet, also recruited Bob Lazar, according to Bob? Do I think they went out of the box mistakenly and tried to get some savants in physics that could maybe, again, think out of the box? Yes, I think that's very possible. Do I think that Bob was maybe part of a psyop? Absolutely. But he was on Area 51. I have seen his name on the EG&G entry log to get onto Groom Lake. So, folks, that is a fact. I will finally say
part of it. You also remember when we can't go on too long. We're running out of time. I want to add another layer of analysis of this, knowing how the intelligence community works. People can be shown things and told things that are deliberately, they know they're going to leak them because it's a diversion and it's not quite accurate. So you have to be careful. My mantra when I go up and meet with members of Congress and whatnot is that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. You're dealing with the super varsity team of intelligence operations, diversions, deception, sleight of hand. So anything like that. And the question is, people get all into the physics of what he presented, which are unproven. People get into, and even what you are shown and told may or may not have been what he thought he saw. Because if they had a sense that he might carry things forward, he would quite unintentionally carry forward part information and part disinformation, because there were certain things leaking out at that time that they wanted to gaslight people on. So I'm just saying it's more complicated than people want very simplistic, non-nuanced, idiotic answers to very complex problems. And I can tell you that this is a puzzle palace, like that book about the National Security Agency called this is such a hall of smoke and mirrors, deception, that anything that comes along, ultimately the most difficult part of this is the intelligence assessment. And this is why in 1991 I wrote a paper called The Comprehensive Assessment of the UFO ETI Extraterrestrial Intelligence Subject. And I can tell you that went all through the aerospace and the intelligence community. And I had people contact me and said, this is the most accurate assessment any of us have ever read. How the hell do you know this? And that was in 1991. In fact, Dr. Robert Woods, who worked for McDonnell Douglas, point blank said, because he had been asked by old man McDonald of McDonnell Douglas to look into this and research it. And Dr. Woods was a aerospace science guy.
Right. I've been working with his son on the BBS facility. Yeah, he's fantastic. Great guy.
And he said, we've never seen anything quite this accurate. How do you know it?
Right.
But I think so. We just keep trying to build, I call it the disclosure mosaic. There's a million little pieces that we've accumulated, and then trying to put them together into a picture, factoring in that in order for this to be controlled by the people controlling it, they need to create enough false information with the real information to steer it in their direction. And that's what's been going on. This is why the CIA, psychological warfare division started doing alien abductions using advanced technologies that look human, that look alien, that are human-made craft, using all kinds of what's called stagecraft. And that began in the early 60s and onward. And it's still going on. The mutilations of cattle, we know who's done that. It's all human. It's not alien. People say, oh, it's an alien harvest. They say, yeah, no, it didn't. Sorry to tell you. So this gets into this whole thing of if you have a small community of amateur investigators in the UFO subculture that it doesn't have proper funding and is easily gaslit and deceived, but you also embed within that community people who are NOCs, non-official cover, who provide false information to the public and to their fellow researchers. And this is exactly what happens. So I guess people would say I'm the biggest skeptic ever, and I am, but only because I've been at this since 1990. And what I've discovered is that you have to be very careful. So when you talk about a case like the Bob Lazar case, it's not as simple as it looks.
No.
And I think that people often, like Bob, wouldn't even know if they were being played in some sort of a psyop.
Right.
Because the best people in those psyops don't know they are.
Yeah.
They're purveyors of intel or disinformation, or partial true and partial false information strategically. But that decision is being made at a level way above there. And so the people who have run those sort of psyops, I do know and have known for decades, and they have really tutored me since the 90s and how that game is played. So
yeah, and the last thing on Bob is that is just raises my eyebrow, and I think people will agree that the fact that he has done 20 interviews over 30 years, yet he will not just sit shoulder to shoulder with a physicist, and that he refuses, that he just made the statement 2 days ago he would not testify before Congress. So that the final verdict is my eyebrow gets raised on both of those facts, and that's my final say. Yeah,
and it's a big problem, and I think that this is why the most it's like what's going on now. we're sitting on dozens and dozens of the hottest whistleblowers in the history of the subject in 80 years.
Yeah.
And they won't be called to a hearing. And then you have people who are UFO journalists up on a hearing yesterday.
Yeah.
Something's very wrong. Something's very wrong with this picture.
No one would disagree with you.
I don't care if I ever get called. I have no interest. But I would if they did, but it wouldn't be a pretty picture because I'd rip apart the whole thing. But I'll tell you right now that the people who are the real deal that are in our witness pool, that number in the hundreds, go to our archive. There are 150 or 120 witnesses and whistleblowers, name, rank, serial number, with their interviews and transcripts for the whole world to see, that are extraordinarily more consequential than anything these hearings are bringing in front of them. Why? This makes no sense. To anyone who would just dispassionately look at it, there's something very fishy going on. So this is where I think the public needs to have their eyes wide open and realize that something is stinking in Denmark when
Right.
when a group like ours goes in, and I've been in skiffs, and you hand over 50 high value targets who have been chairmen of major corporations with the documents and the proof, who need and want to be subpoenaed before they go to the grave, and they won't be called. And then you have someone who's a UFO journalist on a panel under oath. I'm sorry. So these are the sorts of things that make you wonder what's really going on here. I mean, it just is so bizarre to anyone who knows the truth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not giving up on it, because there's some very, very good people on those committees who are sincerely trying to get to the truth, and we're cooperating with that. And just as there have been with the Senate, Intelligence Committee, and the co-chair, Mr. Rubio, who's now Secretary of State, had a very keen interest in this and received a great deal of information. And so did Mark Warner, who had been chairman back until the election changed the leadership in the Senate. And so there are people who have been trying to get to the bottom of this, who are, I think, sincere. And we have to just keep that moving forward. But we also have to question, what kind of decision making has led to certain people who take over these public events.
Yes.
And then water them down to something that anyone who knows anything. I mean, basically, if you've seen,
it's turning into a popularity contest, not who has the most knowledge in, with this phenomenon. Well, that would be Dr. Greer. He's got over a tetrabyte of information. Okay, let's bring in George Knapp, the reporter. I'm a basic human being.
Yeah, right.
What I just said makes me want to take a hammer and because that's a better idea, hitting my head with a hammer, than what happened yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm your friend, but I think most people would agree with me.
Yeah, and in a way, it's not about me at all. It's about the evidence and the science.
Of course.
Collected. I mean,
right.
What I've tried to do is get to the truth by debriefing and interviewing and getting the testimony and the proof from 1,000 different people who've been in these projects. And when I first started out, I debriefed people who were present at Roswell. They were at the original 1995 gathering in Asilomar, California, that I put together in 1995, 30 years ago in June, some of them. And guys who worked on the technology in the 50s, who I debriefed, who are in their 80s, who have since died. So my whole purpose is to go to the direct firsthand people dealing directly with these operations at that level.
Right.
And I've been doing it for over 30 years. And we have all that information. But what's interesting is that the bureaucracy and the administrative staff and what have you tends to always push that aside. And then they put forward witnesses who either, like Mike Gold that they had last time, that doesn't know anything, because I know him, or people who are journalists, or people who had minor sightings and events, as opposed to people who actually worked in the programs. I have a colonel from Edwards who used to manage the pilots who flew the man-made UFOs out of Edwards complex.
It's shocking.
And the Skunk Works. So it's like, why aren't we hearing from them? What? Hello, knock, knock. You know.
Yeah,
So this gets to be, kind of mind-boggling to anyone who knows the real inside story. Which, of course, the members and people who'll see this on YouTube will understand. But we're not going to give up. We're just going to keep moving forward little by little. And I appreciate your hard work.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you sincerely.
Hey,
Thank you.
Send us that log entry from EG&G. That
I will. I sent you another one on a Stanton how the first Victor we thought was, and I will send. I want to get it clear with my producer. I will send it to Raven when we end.
Okay.
I will send you the EG&G entry log for Area 51 for Victor, ladies and gentlemen, Stanton John Willett of either Phoenix or Cucamonga, California. So crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So that's the sort of documentation you want to get. And
yes, sir.
Connecting the dots. Yes.
Yep.
Great work. All right.
Thank you.
Thank everyone for being here, and the members. Thank you guys for joining us, and for those of you viewing this on YouTube, stay tuned.